Yeah, no, it's great. I appreciate all the promotion, all the time you've taken and effort. It's awesome of you. Thank you. Thank you.
Of course, yeah. No, I love your book. I love all of your books that I've had the chance to read. The Kill Journal. I'm about to start reading the eighth in a couple of days. I love all the work that you've done. I just have questions here. I want to talk about the
Let's
Exiled,
do it.
obviously, and just some other stuff, and just get to
Let's
know you a little
let's
bit here.
yeah, let's
But
dive in.
yeah, I just wanted to start off by saying, well, congrats, obviously, on starting the Exiled and getting all that awesome promotion out with it. Finding out you guys were the one of the 200 books on Kickstarter to be funded as fast as it was, and also hitting your 20,000 goal in less than 24 hours, and then your 75,000 goal in less than 14. It's really incredible that you guys were able to fund this so quickly. And my question to you is, did you know this was going to happen as fast as it was, or did you know you were going to have all this support and love with the book?
You know, I've done multiple crowdfunding campaigns, some for two for board games and four for graphic novels.
Yeah.
And I don't think any time you ever feel good when you start, because you think that fans will come out, you think you hope, you think, well, boy, if I was, I would. Um, but until really like the end of day one on the campaign, you can't hardly you're a wreck because you think it could all fall apart and no one back it and you'd be left. So I think I was shocked there. I think that we felt strong with Wes's influence that we'd go in and have a great showing, um, but there were still massive doubts because there always is.
Yeah, of course. My question too is, how long has the Exiled been in the works here?
Um, well, it's interesting. It's been in the work, so I guess I would say 14 years.
Oh wow.
Um,
Oh wow.
yeah, I think is the right answer to that. Like the first idea of it for the Exiled happened. I think it's no, actually it was 2010. So sorry, 12 years in the works. Um, Keith and I were working on a movie, and I pitched about this idea of the Exiled, and he and I got riffing on it years ago. And in fact, we'd even had dinner with Wesley all that time, 2010. He
Oh wow.
because we were meeting with Radical Comics. We'd sold a book to Radical Comics, and so and Wes his book also he also had a book on Radical Comics. So we'd all had this dinner at San Diego Comic Con 2010, if you can imagine, um, and was our sort of our the first inklings of the Exiled. At the time, it was just called Exile, not the Exiled, and it wasn't the story that it is now. Now that Wesley's gotten involved and
Yeah.
and the story it grew and expanded. But like that's where it began all that time ago, and now here it is. And we're
That's incredible here. And speaking of San Diego Comic Con, was this your first like ginormous, like I know you guys went to San Diego Comic Con this year for this obviously this beautiful book right here. Was this your first big panel for San Diego Comic Con?
No, so well, my first panel for sure for me. So Keith has had a booth. So just so it doesn't know, so there's three of us involved in this. Obviously, Wesley Snipes, the man, the legend, Keith Aram,
Yep.
who's another partner on this. Keith is a video game director. His credits include the Spider-Man games, the Call of
Oh yeah.
Duty games. He's and so ultimately, there's the three of us. And so Keith has had a booth at Comic Con for the last, 10, 12 years, and he and I have at different times at different projects that we've had at that booth, and he's partnered with all kinds of other people along the way, and so we've always had a booth there, but never a panel. And so this was had the beginnings of the panel, if you will. And excuse me. And so that was my first time, and it felt awesome to be there. Where you had a panel. Unfortunately, Wes had a family emergency come up, and we wasn't able to make the panel. But it was still cool to be there and to with a main stage panel and to share the story with people at Comic-Con. So,
Of course, yeah.
but
No,
yeah. Anyway, so
it's been incredible watching you guys work with this. I mean, I remember first seeing this on my Facebook page, just seeing that Wesley Snipes was involved in this comic book here, and I was completely blown away. I was like, "You're kidding me, right?" Like the guy from Blade. And I
yeah,
started looking more into it, and it's incredible to see how much he is involved in this story. He seemed very passionate about Esquivo's artwork when he received that the first pages of all of that. It's been incredible watching all you guys work with this.
Yes, because we had gone through a large pile of artists, and we'd sent that image to Wes, and he's like, "This works for me." And I shouldn't say we sent it to him. He was at Keith's studio, and we were all there together, and we had big printouts, and he saw it, and it was like, "Yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy." So it was a really, it was an awesome feeling.
Yeah, and then also with you guys choosing all the different artists here, was it always, because I see that Esquivo is doing kind of a traditional artwork here with the pen and pencil and inks.
That's right.
Has that always kind of been the plan to do it traditionally, or did you guys want to do it digitally?
No, it was all. I don't know that I had my heart set on either way.
Okay.
It was more about finding the right artist.
Yeah.
And how they work. I don't think that there's a right or wrong answer to traditional versus digital. However, I do think that's because it really depends on who the artist is. But I feel like in a lot of ways, there is a certain aesthetic that comes in when you're doing it traditionally that doesn't happen as much when you're digital. Like I think David Rubin, who I love, works digitally, right?
Yeah.
Daniel Warren Johnson works traditionally.
Of course.
You get a different outcome. So I personally like that outcome, but it wasn't certainly, it's not like we were committing to that. It had to be traditional by any means. So
of course, yeah. A quick question here, because I've been watching Esquivo's live Instagrams, watching him work on his beautiful artwork, watching these pages come to life, and just have a couple of questions off of that just because he's been speaking a little bit about it, and it hasn't been fully clear about what it is. So since I'm able to talk to you now, I'd love to get some of those questions answered. He said that you guys have no editors for the book. He said this is kind of like a freelance. It's all just you guys. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, what I mean by that is there is no there's not like an editor that would be traditionally at a publishing company. It's just ultimately it's us doing it, and I'm doing the script and letters. Keith and Wes and I all did the story, and then I do the scripting and the lettering, and I do all the the back and forth with Esquivo on the finessing of pages and panels and etc. And with Wes and Keith weighing in from time to time to make sure the big picture and the key moments are all there. And so, so in some way, it's like no one talking about this with Esquivo isn't have full skin in the game.
That's awesome. That's awesome here. One thing I got to talk about too, it's something I really love that you guys, what you're doing here as a collector and for statues and also comics as well. I love how much you're including with what you did for the Kickstarters and the Indigo campaign. I mean, we have two different variations of the book. We have the prequel coming out, The Forgotten Wars, which I'm very excited to figure out about that. We have the Exiled in its oversized format. We have the Magna version of the Go version for the book. You have a statue available. We got all the trading cards, the bookmarks. I mean, what made you want to do this much for this Kickstarter compared to your other stuff? Because I know you guys had the option to have people get drawn into the book, and then also as well the slipcase with Wesley Snipes' autograph. And so what made you guys want to go this big?
Well, our hope was, as you're always hedging the bets, like, is this, how do we make it appealing enough for people to jump in, to put their money into something that, they're going to have to wait a year to get, and all the other things that come with crowdfunding, right? So the hope was creating a dynamic enough package, and then hopefully the book would be successful enough for us to pay for all the stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so we took the big plunge. I mean, sometimes I think, when I've done campaigns, I think sometimes you kind of regret some of the stretch goals you put in because you put them there to hopefully excite and maybe push the campaign farther, and then sometimes they end up being sort of like more trouble than they were worth, or the people actually at the end didn't really care about them that much, right? I know sometimes there's a pile of stretch goals that come with lots of books I get because I back all the time, where I just kind of throw them in the pile of GAC and never look at them again, right?
Yeah.
But hopefully we delivered that. Hopefully.
Yeah, you guys really did. I was very proud backer for this book. I mean, I'm very excited.
You're awesome. Thank you.
I'm very pumped. And speaking how you guys said this is only exclusively, the oversized books only exclusively to the Kickstars and Indigos. Do you guys have plans after the 6 issues come out to do trade backs?
Yeah, so there will be. So what's happened is, is Whatnot Publishing has come on board, which is awesome. Which is awesome, and so it will have its full life. It's going out to single issues end of January. However, the single issues will just be like, a single issue. They'll just be a 22-page book, and the people who back the campaign are going to get this special oversized. There's also going to be codes inside of the oversized edition that unlock digital collectibles that won't be available to the retail people. Also, there'll be pages at the end of the book that won't be available anywhere else. And there's lots of cool things about that. Also, the prints that come with it. We tried to build a whole pile of things that were special for those who took the first ride. But the single issues are out. And if you're somebody who wants this, go to your local comic shop and request it. Whatnot is the publisher. It can be available. It's it's all sold through Diamond like everybody else. And so anyways, I look for it, and I should say ask for it in your stores. So
yeah, no, of course, I'm definitely going to be bugging my store about this. I've been bugging them a lot about it. About a couple of weeks ago, I've been telling them, like, hey, there's going to be something crazy coming, and you guys need to get onto this. So speaking of those variant, all those different covers you were talking about and all the extras in the back of the book, we saw on Instagram that Boss Logic and Kyle's Hots are doing variant covers for the Exiled book here. Can you tell us if there's going to be more than 2, or if they're going to be in the back of the oversized book as well?
Yeah, so there are. There's going to be for issue 1. I think there's now 12 variant covers.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so there's 12 variant covers, and so there's a whole lineup from Hots to Boss Logic, Preston Acevedo, the Rob Willis, the Esquivo cover, a whole bunch of Drew Moss did an amazing cover. There's a whole pile of them. So it's really exciting. Like, as far as like a collectible item, the variant game on this is worth diving into. The Boss Logic one is hard to get because your store has to order a certain number of issues to get it, but it will be signed by Wesley himself. That's awesome. That's a pretty special one. And I would say yes. If you go to previews, Previews World, and look it up, you can see all the covers that are available. But they really went all in. Several of them I had done, and several of them Whatnot, commissioned, and so it's really, really cool. Yeah,
that's awesome. That's super, super awesome. Speaking of your background a little bit, we're going to change it up just a tiny bit here because I do have a little bit of questions of this. I do know that you have been in the film industry a little bit, being involved in a couple of movies as like Snakes in a Plane, The Gauntlet, The Phoenix Incident here. Do you have any plans here for The Exile to become maybe an animated, a live action thing?
Yeah. I mean, I would say that obviously that's in Wes's heart, and it has been from the beginning. And then now that's our next phase. Now that we've crossed into the publishing line, will be to knock on doors in Hollywood. We've gotten a few calls from Amazon and Warner Brothers along the way, and that will be being able to see if we can make those a reality.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I know Keith's also involved. Obviously, you said he's very involved in the video game industry. It'd be pretty cool to see maybe even touch up a little bit on that too.
Yeah, I mean, that would be fantastic as well. I mean, both of us will be pushing it on all fronts. Obviously, Wes will be pushing into film, and Keith will be pushing games. So we'll see how that goes. There has definitely been some knocks on the door. So fingers crossed that we get to see this come to life as a film. And if not, hopefully people just read the book and enjoy it there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I really believe everyone's going to enjoy this book here. Speaking of the book here, what I think some people's biggest questions are going to be when they read this first issue, because I've had the chance obviously to read the Ash Can. I think some of their biggest questions are going to be is why is the Red Friday attack being hidden so much? I mean, you find out so much in there and how much it's affected Roach's life, and I can't wait for that to be uncovered and for us to find out what that true horror story is.
Yeah, so that is so without giving it away, right? I think the
Yeah,
thing
of
about
course.
this is, right, is it ends up just giving it away. That I think ultimately what we have is something we wanted to, like Wes said it best in the video. This is, there's lots of layers involved in this story, right? And that's what makes it so cool. Is this has there's layers within layers, sort of wheels within wheels, as we say, working on. And so the Red Friday attack alludes to this other thing that alludes to this other thing, and it's essentially our story is Roach pulling back this onion, right, and peeling it back and discovering the layers. And so I think that and I wanted to start it with a bang, right? And that there was an event that Roach was privy to, that he was involved in, that the rest of the world rejected. Um,
Oh,
and I think that that's what makes it kind of a cool feeling that this person has been ostracized because they, so to speak, saw the UFO, if you will. But anyways, I'll leave it at that without giving away too much of the book.
oh yeah. No, because we definitely, because not everyone's obviously able to pick up their hands on the ash can right now, so we don't want to give away too much of that here. But man, it's just so crazy to find out how well this story is going here, finding out how well Esquivo's having with the artwork here, because I know that they just happened to have a hurricane not too long ago, and he's still busting out these pages here, and that's incredible.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He for a moment might have lost all the original pages. The water was filling up in his apartment. Fortunately, he hid them up on the top, and they had to escape. But he was able to get back in there hip deep in water and get the pages out. I think I know he is incredibly consistent, incredibly solid, and is of those artists that can just do it all day long, right? He can
Of
just
course.
push. And so I'm so grateful that it's him, that we get to take this ride with. So
Of course, yeah. I've been love watching him on Instagram. I love seeing the inspirations that he takes in his artwork as well. Obviously, he is the big fan of the writer of the anime Berserk, and also you can see the inspirations of Frank Miller in the book as well. I love seeing
totally.
those pieces in there. It's very incredible watching that work there.
Yeah, no, I think that who isn't inspired by that, right?
Yeah,
Who isn't inspired by some Frank Miller in the mix? And so anyways, I'm just super glad to that we get to like spiel off that, and that Esquivo reacts to that so well.
yeah, of course. No, yeah, it's really awesome here. Let's see here. Boo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Sorry about this. Can
No.
you tell us um, anything about the story? I mean, I know that we're a little bit hidden here on really what we can talk about here, but I know that you've done a lots of different stories. And now, obviously, congratulations with the Kids and Monsters finally being finished there. Um,
Yeah.
but
No.
what can you expect different from this story compared to the other ones that you've done?
Yeah. So I think that that this story, as far as what's different about it, is obviously a unique tale about sort of a Blade Runner meets Seven, in
Yes.
that it's an unfolding murder mystery and crime story, and none of the others have been that. So it has this haunting vibe to it. That it's really, I guess, a mystery story at the core of it, and then you'll have to let me know how well I do at executing, building this mystery that's layered in and out. I've done that a lot in television, and love to see it here in comics. So I think like the thing that's exciting is that the story is leading to who is this serial killer, and then once you discover who the serial killer is, it flips sort of the paradigm of the whole world. And then really the serial killer is only just the beginning of the madness that Roach is going to uncover. And I think that's nice about it, is that it sets you up thinking, oh, it's about chasing this killer, but really this killer is just the tip of the iceberg to a much bigger story.
That's insane. That's super insane here. I mean, that's I've read a lot of detective stories, and when I picked up this issue here and read it, I've never been so drawn to a book, wanted so many more answers, wanted it to be continued. It draws you in, and I really believe that the readers, when they pick up this book in January, they are going to be blown away with what you guys have done.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and
So then,
just go ahead.
no, please, please.
Just another question here is, can you tell us about what the pages of the book will be like? Are you guys going to be going with matte or glossy pages, or are you guys going to be going with more of the cardstock type paper?
I mean, I'm somebody who prefers matte pages. Um, and I know we've been kind of going back and forth on that with the printing. I much prefer a matte page. Will probably be something similar to this, where you have sort of a gloss, 300 GSM cover, with a matte interior would be my hope.
Awesome.
I don't control every aspect of that for the single issues, but for but for those who backed on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, that's what it will be.
That's awesome.
They'll have a lot more to it because it'll be a supersized edition with, spot UV work to it, etc. So
that's awesome. And then we are. Can you tell us when we could expect the Kickstarters and Indiegogos to go out? I heard that we were talking maybe more towards the June release date of next year.
yeah, so that's correct. So the way it works out is that, and that was what we said on the campaigns, is that June they'll be going out. So we are about ready to start issue 4, and we'll hopefully to have, because essentially it's 6 issues, and our hope is to be done with everything so it can be off to printers in March, April. They're going to be printing in China and then shipping. So that always sometimes you can lose 2 months, and because the boat's stuck or whatever is the case. It would just happened to me before. So, but right now we're on track to hit that, and I'll know probably in the next month or two if that can happen, barring whatever may happen in China on the boat. So
awesome. That's really awesome, and I love that this isn't a tiny book as well. I mean, we're shooting up at 148 pages, and I mean, this book you guys are stating it's going to be pretty big as well for the oversized cover for those Kickstarters as well.
That's right. So it's 13 by 8.5. So it's huge. If this is a standard comic, coming in at essentially 10 by 6, and it's 10.2 by 6.6, you're talking about something that's much bigger. It's going to be more like, I don't know if you saw these Sin City collected editions, but it's going to be a much bigger. Yeah. It's going to be more like this sort of feel. It's going to be much. It's going to be much bigger. Nice. So I think that's a cool thing. I always like to get that edition that's oversized, where you open it up and the small panels feel like big panels.
Oh yes.
And it feels just much more immersive. At least it is for me. And I wanted to give that to people as that same experience of that immersive world.
Yes. Everyone. I mean, personally for myself, I would definitely prefer it in an oversized format, because I mean, it brings the pages so much more to life. You're able to screen more of that detail. You're able to see more of everything, and it's just it always looks awesome on the shelf.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but no, that's so incredible here. Awesome. What question here as well is, I see that Valentina Bacani, if I'm so sorry if I pronounced her last name wrong there, what made you want to go with her for the colors for the book there?
So we had gone through maybe 6 or 7 colorists. We'd had tests done, and Valentina is somebody whose colors I've been looking at for a while, and her test just blew us away. I think she captured the feeling of the world, and the feeling of this noir setting in this world, and that she brought it to life in a way, because a lot of other great colorists who've done a lot of good books, but I think she just knew how to make this book breathe. So
that's incredible. Yeah. And then also another going on with that, what made you specifically want Wesley Snipes for this book? Because you can obviously, personally, in my opinion, you can see the Blade inspiration in Roach as well. So what made you want to go with Wesley Snipes?
Well, I think that the story had been shelved for a while, and Keith had been talking to Wes about doing a comic book, and he said, "Well, Wes, what about this story?" And then we got talking with Wes, and it came to life for him. And I think we wanted, in launching anything, it's about, you want to bring somebody to the table who makes it exciting for the audience, right? Because there's so many comics in the mix, and the way he took to the story, and then the way what he brought to it was just like, oh, this is the right fit instantly. And so that was kind of how it was a matter of circumstance that it was him, and then he just was also the absolute right guy for it.
Awesome, awesome. That's so incredible. Because obviously I'm a very big fan of the stuff here. I grew up with him as Blade. It's incredible to watch him work in this, and hopefully as it goes on and when we get released those single issues, hopefully we can get those live action stuff with him in it, because it would just be so cool to watch him battle as Roach and see that badassness in it.
No, I agree. That would be the hope. I know that's deep in his wishes, and well, let's see if we get to do it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And it's really incredible. You guys had 1,299 backers total from Indiegogo and Kickstarter. I mean, that's so insane. I can't believe that we're finally going to be getting this out and going, and we're going to hopefully have more to the Exiled, hopefully more than 6 issues after this, because like I said, this book's I'm going to say it's going to be the best book of 2023.
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, but I think that I'm very, very hopeful that we can deliver something that will live on. You know, we've got these 6 issues, plus there's the Forgotten Wars story.
Yes.
Fingers crossed that also takes life as well. And if it comes to life for the fans, yes, we'll do another arc. So all fingers crossed on that, Nathan.
Okay. And so is the Forgotten Wars going to be only for Indigo and Kickstarter as well, or are those going to be released in single issues as well?
So the Forgotten Wars is just a one shot.
Okay.
And we've been talking about that with our publisher, and it may become the sort of the 7th book. You know what I mean? Is it?
Oh, incredible. Incredible.
And so I think that's probably where it will land. Once again, we will do something unique for it for those who backed it. It'll have a unique cover and unique back pages and other things that won't be available to those who buy it in store. But yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I just don't want to take up too much more of your time here. I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. I know you're a very busy man, have lots of stuff going on. I just wanted to thank you so much for jumping on here with me today and actually talking to me about this. It's been an incredible time meeting and talking with you.
Oh, hey, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Well, Nathan, thanks for all your help and all your support and pushing this. And it's awesome to see fans and people come to life with it, and that you've reacted so well to it. It's awesome, Nathan. I'll talk to you again.
Yeah, of course. It was a pleasure meeting with you, and I will see you again soon.
All right, take care.
Yeah, take care.